I pulled out every Johnson Sod Sales sign I've ever seen in my life until that guy went out of business. And when he went out of business, guess who filled the sod selling space of deliveries, not just doing installations? All right, everybody. So I'm here today to talk to you about the great sign wars of the early 2000s. We talked about how I got into the business, and now we're going to talk about what I did to actually start a business. And marketing these days is 100 times easier. Any kid can go out and do social media now, and you can do that. And guess what? If you have a social media post, no one can really take it and steal it. Like, they can copy you, they can't steal it. Back in my day, in the Yellow Pages day, before social media took hold in the early 2000s, when you're starting out your business, you're advertising on the Yellow Pages, which is an actual book that gets sent to every single house, and then they can look up businesses via the book, like an encyclopedia for businesses. Or you could do something called lawn signs. And in the landscaping industry in the early 2000s, lawn signs were the key to marketing. They didn't cost as much as other modes of advertising, like say a billboard or something like that, a TV commercial. You're a landscaper, you get lawn signs so that people can see your company as they're driving by. And you take them. And they're just these corrugated signs with some information on them. And you're going to take them and you're going to put them at the traffic intersections. You're going to put them where the lights come, on the meridians, anywhere you can. At the start of new neighborhoods, when you're driving in new neighborhoods and there's all those undeveloped houses, you put your lawn signs down at every little junction where the mailboxes are, all those places. And what you're doing is you're hoping that when a customer's going to get their mail, when they're stopped at the light and they're looking, they see your sign and they go, I need sod, I need landscaping. And they take down your number and they call you and then you get a quotation. So lawn signs were like a massive mode of marketing back in the late 2000s, especially here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. But guess what? If there's 200 companies that all are doing the same thing and they all want that nice real estate of lawn signs put up right where you drive in a neighborhood, right where you get the mail, well, there's some shady tactics that go on. Let me tell you something, some shady tactics, a lawn sign war where you get greasy and it's territorial. And so we're going to talk about today, oh man, like when I started, I had no money. I didn't start with any money, anything. I literally had to make my own lawn signs. I couldn't even afford a sign company to make my signs. So I had to go to Home Depot and buy these big sheets of corrugated plastic or whatever, and wood stakes, and I would get stencils. I would get the stencils and the spray paint. And then I would line up the stencils with my company information on it, which was just a name and a phone number to start. And so I had no money and I made those signs. And let me tell you what, my buddy Ian Rusk and I, we made those signs. We're not sign makers. They were horrible. They're like Goosebumps. Now, you may not know what Goosebumps is, but there used to be books in the 90s, 1990s, and the early 2000s. Goosebumps. And they were these horror books, and they'd have blood dripping down the letters. And for my company, I did not want blood dripping down my letters, but I'm so bad at using stencils that after I'd stenciled it, I didn't realize I didn't tape up the stencils the right way, and then I moved the sign, and it all leaked down. So they were ugly. But I had no money. I had no money to fix them, and they were ugly signs. But, at the end of the day, maybe that was to my advantage. I don't know. I do know this. I had very little money, and I made a decision that I was going to make the signs and try and book a job, and hopefully I could get a job before my phone bill, which was already a month past due, was going to come due again. Back then, if you don't pay, you're getting cut off pretty quickly. So I'm in a dilemma. I've got my lawn signs out and I've invested them in that, and I didn't really do a good job on the stencils, but I have no more money to replace them. And I have bills coming due, and I'm praying that someone's going to see my lawn sign before I have to pay my bills. Because once the phone line gets cut off, how is someone going to call me to get a job done? It's a big gamble. Now, there's a lot of other companies that are gambling, and they might have money and they may not. But you have lawn signs and you put them out. So here's the story of what happened to my lawn signs amidst the great sign wars of the late 2000s. Never forget this. My first set of signs. I went down to Auburn Bay in southeast Calgary, deep south Calgary. They were just developing this beautiful new neighborhood with a big lake in the middle, a man-made lake. Beautiful. There's going to be a hospital down there. It's going to be the absolute best place for a young guy wanting to do sod. So all new houses. So we go out there and there's all these little meridians and islands between the two-way traffic. And so I'm out there and I'm plopping my signs down and plopping my signs. I'm feeling strategic. I'm feeling good. And I'm doing good. Feeling like, oh man, we're going to get some calls. We're going to get some calls. No calls. We did that on a Friday. No calls Saturday. No calls Sunday. By Monday, I'm panicking. Ian, can you give me a ride down there? I want to go take a look at this. Let's go down there. So, hop in Ian's car, beat up old Honda Civic, like everybody in the late 2000s drove in high school. Go back down to Auburn Bay. Looking for my signs. Where are my signs? What happened to my signs? I go, that's where my sign was. That's not my sign. There's another sign there. We walk up to the sign. What does the sign say? Johnson Sod Sales. The nerve of this prick, right? The nerve of this prick. They pulled my lawn sign, my shitty little Goosebumps lawn sign, and just replaced it with their fancy lawn sign. And we drive around, all over Auburn Bay. And everywhere I put my lawn sign, Johnson Sod Sales had replaced my signs. They pulled them out. They replaced them with theirs. They destroyed my signs. That is dirty, dirty work. I pulled out every Johnson Sod Sales sign I've ever seen in my life until that guy went out of business. And when he went out of business, guess who filled the sod selling space of deliveries, not just doing installations? This guy right here, because he never forgot what happened during the sign wars of the late 2000s. This was common practice back then. This was all common practice, okay? Guys would go and pull out other guys' signs. They'd replace signs. They'd tear down signs. If you put a sign out, you had to check on that sign once a week because people would pull them. They'd destroy them. They'd put their own signs down. Everybody's elbowing. I don't want you here. I'm elbowing my way to the table, right? That's what it was back then. The amount of wasted money on signs. Just signs everywhere. You just see them. Throw them in a field. Just a graveyard of old landscaping signs everywhere. Companies desperately trying to book jobs. They're just wasting away in the wind, in the field with the animals of the fields. Just signs everywhere, but not where they need to be, which is right where people can see them. So it's an ever-evolving battle of week after week. Who's replacing your signs? Who are you replacing your signs with? You got to get down and dirty because guys play dirty in this industry, okay? You're a young guy starting up, a young guy or girl starting up. It might be a little different now, but it's still cutthroat. Landscaping's still cutthroat. And let me tell you, in this day and age, you know, social media is so easy. You make a post, it's free, people see it, and they'll book a job with you. You know, in my day, it wasn't like that. There was no social media marketing. So you're putting your sign down and you're hoping. So I know you're probably thinking now, well, what happened? You had no signs. What happened with your phone bill? Well, I was able to cobble some signs together from scrap corrugated plastic. And I didn't take them back to Auburn Bay. It was about 5 signs I was able to cobble together. And I didn't take them to Auburn Bay. I went over to Copper Pond. It wasn't even Copper Pond. It was Copper Stone because Copper Pond hadn't been there yet. That's another neighborhood in southeast Calgary. And I put them out. I'm sitting on the back porch with my uncle and Chris. We're having backyard beers. You know, I don't know if I had a beer. Maybe I had a beer. Who knows? But I get a call. From my first ever customer, Riaz Ali. Really nice family guy, maybe 35, 40, Copperfield. And he calls me up. We set up a quotation. I get down there right away. I'm feeling good. I'm nervous, but this is my first quotation ever. I got it off of these signs. And We'll talk about Riaz Ali in the next one. But book the job, make the money, and then I can afford more signs. And after that, I started getting a little more professional with them. But I'll tell you, back in the day, when you're out there trying to, I mean, this is the thing, you're desperate. You got to put food on the table. When you get desperate, you're going to do anything you can to give yourself a leg up in the competition. So what does that mean? It means taking other signs. It means sabotaging. You're going to sabotage to put yourself over someone else. That's what happens when you start out. At least back then, guys did not care about you or how crummy your signs looked. Johnson Sod Sales certainly didn't care about my signs. And it's so funny. Up until about 2000, I think I did signs until 2016, 17, somewhere in there. And to that day, 8 years later, it was still getting pulled. People were still pulling and replacing. The pull and replace of the signs exists today, but that's okay because we're on social media now and it's a lot easier. So if you are a young entrepreneur and a young landscaper starting out, you just make your free content, showcase your stuff, you're going to be fine because nobody can steal it. If it's uniquely yours and you're in the video, nobody's going to pull your video and replace it with theirs because it's your platform. Thankfully, we survived the great sign wars of the late 2000s, and the Sodfather you know today is here. And so that's a little rundown of how cutthroat it was back in the day. And it didn't matter if you had Goosebumps signs and they sucked. They didn't care. They didn't even care. They'd still take your sign. So thank goodness for Riaz Ali. Thank goodness for the extra corrugated plastic I put together. Thank goodness for tape, Scotch tape of all things. Thank goodness that I was able to pay my phone bill way back in the day and get that call, and everything changed from there. As soon as I got that phone call, it all changed. So that's the sign wars, the great lawn sign wars of the late 2000s. Thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button and follow for more, because I got to tell you, we're going to do this whole story from start to finish. Plus, we're going to be highlighting our projects. We have so many beautiful projects that we're going to be highlighting in other videos. We're going to see a lot of content and a vlog as we expand all over Canada in 2026. My name is Jason Dyler. I am the Sodfather. We are the gold standard in green. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.